Leonard Peltier, a name synonymous with the turbulent history of the American Indian movement, has spent nearly half a century behind bars. Convicted in 1977 for the murder of 2 FBI agents during a tense standoff on the Pine Bridge Indian Reservation, Peltier's imprisonment has become a rallying cry for those who believe in his innocence and a symbol of the ongoing struggle for Native American rights. Born in 1944, Peltier, a member of the Teton Sioux tribe, became deeply involved in the American Indian movement, an organization dedicated to addressing the social and economic injustices faced by Native American communities. The turbulent 1970s saw a resurgence of Native American activism, marked by protest and confrontations with government authorities. The events that unfolded on the Pine Ridge Reservation in 1975 cast a long shadow over the Native American rights movement. A violent clash between members of the AIM and federal agents erupted, leaving 2 FBI agents dead. Peltier, caught in the crossfire of this turbulent period, was ultimately convicted of their murders, a verdict that has been hotly contested by his supporters and human rights organizations worldwide. Decades of appeals and international pressure mounted, with prominent figures like Nelson Mandela and Pope John Paul II advocating for his release. Finally, in a monumentous decision, President Joe Biden, in one of his final acts in office, commuted Peltier's sentence, granting him clemency and paving the way for his release from prison. This act of clemency, a long-awaited victory for Peltier supporters, sparked a wave of relief and celebration among those who had championed his cause for decades. Peltier's release, scheduled for February 18th, will undoubtedly mark a significant turning point in his life and a moment of reflection on the complex history of Native American rights in the United States. Leonard Peltier was born on the wind-swept plains of the Turtle Mountain Indian Reservation, a desolate expanse of land in North Dakota. The year was 1944. A time of profound change and upheaval for the Native American communities across the United States. Peltier, one of 13 children, entered the world into a family grappling with the complexities of life on the reservation, a life marked by poverty, hardship, and the lingering echoes of historical trauma. The idyllic image of childhood, however, was shattered when his parents' marriage dissolved, leaving him and his sister Betty Ann to navigate the turbulent waters of childhood in the care of their grandparents, Alex and Mary Dubois Peltier. The loss of his parents, a searing wound in his young heart, would undoubtedly leave an indelible mark on his life. At the tender age of 9, Peltier was sent away from the familiar embrace of his grandparents, shipped off to the Wahpeton Indian School, a government-run institution designed to assimilate Native American children into mainstream American society. The school, a cold and impersonal institution, stood in stark contrast to the warmth and familiarity of his grandparents' home. For years, he endured the soul-crushing isolation of boarding school life, 150 miles away from home, a young boy adrift in a sea of unfamiliar faces and a culture that sought to erase his heritage. The school enforced a strict regime of assimilation. The vibrant tapestry of Native American languages, traditions, and spiritual beliefs was systematically suppressed, replaced by a rigid curriculum that emphasized conformity and adherence to white American norms. Peltier, a resilient spirit, endured the harsh realities of boarding school life, ultimately graduating from Wahpeton and later attending the Flandreau Indian School in South Dakota. However, the experience left an indelible mark on his psyche, shaping his worldview and fueling his growing disillusionment with the injustices faced by his people. He eventually returned to the reservation, seeking solace and connection within his community. The years that followed saw Peltier emerge as a vocal advocate for Native American rights, his life forever intertwined with the turbulent history of the American Indian movement. The vibrant city of Seattle, with its bustling energy and promise of a new beginning, became Leonard Peltier's refuge in 1965. He traded the vast open landscapes of the reservation for the concrete jungle, seeking to forge a new path for himself. He immersed himself in the rhythm of the city, taking on various roles: a welder, a construction worker, and finally, as co-owner of an auto shop. This auto shop, however, was more than just a place of business. It was a sanctuary for those in need. Peltier, with a compassionate heart, transformed the upper level of the building into a haven for Native Americans struggling with addiction or transitioning back into society after serving time in prison. This act of kindness, a testament to his inherent empathy, reflected the deep-seated desire to uplift and support his community. However, this noble endeavor came at a cost. The demands of running the halfway house placed a significant strain on the business, ultimately leading to its closure. Yet the spirit of compassion and community that had guided his venture would continue to shape Peltier's life and inspire his activism. In Seattle, Peltier's awareness of the injustices faced by Native American communities deepened. He became an active participant in the burgeoning civil rights movement, his voice joining the chorus of those demanding justice and equality. News of the escalating tensions on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, a conflict fueled by political infighting and the abuse of power, reached his ears, igniting a fire within him. Dennis Banks, a prominent figure in the American Indian movement, recognized the fire within Peltier, the unwavering commitment to his family. It was Banks who extended an invitation, a call to arms, urging Peltier to join the struggle. In 1972, Peltier, answering the call of his conscience, became an official member of the American Indian movement, a powerful force that would soon become a symbol of Native American resistance. The atmosphere on the Pine Ridge Reservation was thick with tension. The rise of Richard Wilson, the tribal chairman, had exacerbated existing divisions within the community, pitting traditionalists against those who supported his leadership. Wilson's creation of a private militia, the Guardians of the Oglala Nation, further fueled the conflict. The simmering tensions erupted into open conflict with the 1973 siege at Wounded Knee, a dramatic standoff that captured national attention. While Peltier, entangled in legal troubles related to a separate incident in Milwaukee, was unable to actively participate in the siege, the events at Wounded Knee profoundly impacted him. The tranquility of the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation was shattered on the fateful June day in 1975. Two FBI agents, Ronald Arthur Williams and Jack Ross Kohler, their faces etched with determination, ventured onto the reservation, their mission seemingly routine: to locate and question a young man named Jimmy Eagle. Unbeknownst to them, the seemingly innocuous mission would soon escalate into a deadly confrontation. As they drove through the vast expanse of the reservation, their eyes scanning the landscape, they spotted a vehicle, a white over orange Chevy Suburban carryall, carrying Leonard Peltier, Norman Charles, and Joe Stuntz. The atmosphere crackled with tension as the two groups converged. A chilling exchange ensued, shots rang out, and the serene landscape of the reservation was transformed into a battleground. Williams, his voice laced with fear and urgency, radioed their backup. "We're gonna be killed," he cried, his words a desperate plea for help that would go unanswered. The ensuing firefight was a brutal and chaotic affair. Bullets whizzed through the air, tearing through flesh and metal. Williams and Kohler, caught in the crossfire, fell victim to the hail of the bullets. Following the shootout, Peltier became a fugitive, evading capture for nearly a year before being apprehended in Canada. His extradition to the United States was highly controversial, with allegations of fabricated evidence and coercion of witnesses. Leonard Peltier, a prominent figure in the American Indian movement, was convicted in 1977. Peltier's trial, held in Fargo, North Dakota, was a media spectacle. The prosecution presented forensic evidence linking Peltier to the crime, including testimony from witnesses and ballistic evidence. However, doubts have been raised about the reliability of some of this evidence, with allegations of FBI misconduct and the suppression of exculpatory evidence. Despite these concerns, Peltier was convicted and sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences. His case has become a rallying cry for those who believe in his innocence, with numerous appeals and international campaigns calling for his release. President Joe Biden, in one of his final acts in office, commuted Peltier's sentence, paving the way for his freedom from prison. The Peltier case remains a deeply divisive and emotionally charged issue, raising complex questions about justice, human rights, and the ongoing struggle for Native American rights. As we close this episode, our thoughts and condolences are with the victims' families for all our stories. As always, we thank you for your support. Don't forget to subscribe to Crime Cat Podcast for more bone-chilling, wicked, and twisted episodes.